Hello everyone, welcome to today's session where we are going to discuss the poem Night of the Scorpion by the Indian Jewish writer Nissim Ezekiel. This poem was first anthologized in his poetry collection Collected Poems. Ezekiel is well known for his exceptional eye in observing Indian settings and its ways. And in this poem also we are going to find a perfect portrayal of a typical Indian village and its people. This poem also throws light on their temperament, their outlook on life, and their belief system. If we talk about the structure of the poem, this poem is a free verse poem which conveys that it has not any fixed rhyme scheme, any set type of meter. It is a free verse and total 8 stanzas. There are total 8 stanzas in this poem. 3 to 18 means that the shortest stanza is of 3 lines, whereas the longest stanza has 18 lines, and other stanzas are varying between this range 3 to 18. There are total 47 lines in this poem. Let's start the poem. I'm reading it for you. I remember the night my mother was stung by a scorpion. Now, as we read it, we have this information. I remember. Now, I remember suggests that the speaker is recounting something. The speaker is recollecting one of the incidents of his life. The night when his mother was bitten by a scorpion. 10 hours of steady rain had driven him to crawl beneath a sack of rice. Now, 10 hours of steady rain had driven him. Who is him here? Him is scorpion here. And the poet is giving justification that why a scorpion has entered the home due to this incessant, this continuous rain, which is from last 10 hours. And due to this rain, he sought an escape. The scorpion sought an escape or he sought a shelter under the sack of rice at poet's or the speaker's home. And it was his instinct of survival driven him, which has compelled him. 10 hours of steady rain had driven him. It compelled the scorpion to came under the sack of rice. Parting with his poison, flash of diabolic tail in the dark room, he risked the rain again. One by one we'll do it. Parting with his poison, that means he has released his poison into the speaker's mother body. Parting with his poison, he has released his poison. Flash of a diabolic tail, and diabolic tail, as the scorpion releases its poison through its tail, and the tail is described here as diabolic. The word diabolic suggests something evil. So here the evil characteristics has been given to the scorpion, that is the diabolic tail in the dark room. There can be this scene that the speaker's mother came to the near to the sack of rice for taking some rice, and there was scorpion and he bit the speaker's mother. So parting with his poison, flash of a diabolic tail in the dark room, he risked the rain again. Now what is this different thing that he risked the rain again? Means he has gone back, he went away outside. Why he risked the rain again? There's an indication that again his instinct for survival, he became conscious that now he has done something evil, that he has bitten the speaker's mother, and there can be a danger by the hands of at the hands of the inmates. So he risked the rain again, he went away. Now there are two things I want to tell you in these two stanzas. In the first stanza, as in the very beginning, we have been told by the speaker something which has been done very exciting and important in the narration. This is the climax. Climax is something which creates tension, or which is like a turning point. And we are getting this turning point and this very important and exciting information in the beginning. That means climax is at the very beginning, and whatever follow up is going to happen, that after the sting we are going to read it now. And in the second stanza, this information of scorpion going out from the home is just for us, we reader. We will find that in the further stanzas all other characters are unaware about this, and they will be in continuous search of this creature scorpion, because they don't know that it has already gone away, it has departed, it has taken leave from the home. So this information only we know something more than the characters. So here is a dramatic irony which is employed by Ezekiel in this. Usually dramatic irony is for drama, which a dramatist employs on the stage, that spectators or audience knows much more than the characters themselves who are playing the role. So here is a dramatic irony in this stanza. And next, the peasants came like swarms of flies and burst the name of God 100 times to paralyze the evil one. Now the peasants, after listening the mother's cry as she was bitten by the scorpion, and she is in great agony and intense pain, and after listening that those cries, peasants rushed towards the speaker's home, as many as they can, and speaker here is comparing them to the swarms of flies and burst the name of God 100 times. That means they, as per their approach, as per their as much they can think of, and according to them, if they chant the name of God, it will give relief to the speaker's mother. So they are doing whatever they can. The peasants came like swarms of flies and burst the name of God 100 times to paralyze, and they think that it will make the sting, make the poison of the scorpion ineffective. The evil one is here for the poison of the scorpion or scorpion itself. Here one thing can be noted, that though the peasants are not seemed by the speaker in very positive light, as he is calling them, he is comparing them to the group of flies, not so significant. But one thing is noted, that though they are old fashioned, illiterate, they have not moved on in culture and in their thinking, but there is a very noticeable thing is that their fellowship, their compassion, their concern for their neighbor. So it shows a very strong social relationship in the Indian setting, that whatever they can, they are trying. Next stanza. With candles and with lanterns, throwing giant scorpion shadows on the mud baked walls, they searched for him. Now they are in search for him. Impatiently they all are searching for him. And what have they brought in order to search it? Because it is the night time and there is darkness. They have brought candles and lanterns with them, and due to the light of these candles and lanterns, there is a reflection, there is a due to reflection there is a shadow on the mud baked walls. Now this is a very local touch and very typical Indian setting which Ezekiel has presented here. Mud baked walls, on that there is a shadow of. Now what type of shadow is being created by these candles and lanterns? It is here Ezekiel said that is looking like a giant scorpion. Scorpion has left the house. It is not in the home now. We know it, but they don't know, and that's why they are searching it. But the shadow is now, what shadow is being seen on the mud baked walls is also looking like a giant scorpion. Let me read it fully. He was not found. Yes, he was not found. They clicked their tongues. Again, there is a local touch, that they made sharp and short sounds with their tongues in order to tell their disappointment. They clicked their tongues because they are failed in their attempt in finding that evil one. With every movement that the scorpion, now these two lines are the revelation that why they are in desperate hunt for the scorpion. With every movement that the scorpion made, his poison moved in mother's blood, they said. Now according to them, it is their superstition. According to them, as the scorpion will move, it will cause the movement of the poison Scorpion movement will cause the movement of the poison in mother's blood, and it will be the reason of spread of that poison in mother's body. That's why they are in hunt, that if they are able to, they become successful in killing the scorpion, then it will be the prevention of that spreading in mother's the poison spreading in mother's blood. And it is the superstition, their superstition, and they are in search for him with all their candles and lanterns. Now I think you have got the sense now. With candles and with lanterns, throwing giant scorpion shadow, the shadow is looking like a giant scorpion on the mud baked walls. On walls, there is a shadow on the walls. They searched for him, he was not found. They clicked their tongues. With every movement that the scorpion made, his poison moved in mother's blood, they said. This is the literal meaning of this stanza. Now, if we take it figuratively, if we take its what he wants to convey in the deep sense, then giant scorpion shadow, it is the shadow of their ignorance. Here, Ezekiel is indicating towards the ignorance, the poison of ignorance. So we'll find in this whole poem the poison of scorpion and the poison of ignorance of the villagers will run parallel in this whole poem. And that giant scorpion shadow is representing the ignorance, which is much bigger than the scorpion. Which has bitten the mothers, that scorpion is not that big comparative to that scorpion, the ignorant scorpion from which these all villagers are being affected, that is much bigger. So this meaning we can take out from this stanza. Next, may he sit still, they said. Now they are praying, they are trying their best to whatever they can do. May he sit still, they said. May the sins of your previous birth be burned away tonight, they said. Before it, I want to say one more thing, that in this you have found that though this is a very personal crisis, but one thing is very noticeable, that it is a personal crisis, and rather than showing any impatience, any very juggle of emotional pain, speaker is narrating the story in very detached and calm manner. He is he is not in very hurry, he is not impatient, he is not so overwhelmed with emotion, because it is a personal crisis. It is very tragic moment when his mother was bitten by the scorpion, and anything can happen. But then too, his tone is very calm in narrating the story. So that means, that is striking to us as a reader. We can see that not only it is the speaker's intention is, or interest is, not only narrating this whole incident to us, there is something more, and that is this social commentary he is engaged in, that he is commenting, he is mocking the actions or the reactions of these poor illiterate peasants, that about their superstitions, about their belief system. So let's proceed. May he sit still, they said. May the sins of your previous birth be burned away tonight, they said. So there again, now one more segment of people we have got, and here is a reference to very Hinduistic religious theory of karma. Here these are the people who are interpreting this incident as per their religious theory of karma. They are saying, may he sit still, they said. The people who believe that the movement is causing much pain, or movement is the cause of spreading the poison in the body of mother, they are saying may he sit still. And the other segment, now one more reaction, or one more set of people we have got, who are saying that may the sins of your previous birth, karma theory, that since you are suffering now, and this suffering is like a purgation, and this will make you purify. This is like atoning your sins, and whatever sins you have committed in previous birth, and it is just like a purgation, you will be purified, and it will be burned away tonight. May the sins of your previous birth be burned away tonight, they said. May your suffering decrease. Suffering will decrease as the sins, as the amount of sins will come down, because the person has already suffered on account of those sins which he has committed in his previous birth. May your suffering decrease the misfortunes of your next birth. And they have the belief that since the poet the since the person has atoned for his sins in this birth, and next birth will be of lesser pain. Misfortunes of your next birth, they said, may the sum of all evil balanced in this unreal world. Now again that same karma theory, that evil and good and bad deeds should become equal, and as you are suffering now, so this suffering will be after this suffering you will get a good fortune, as evil will, this suffering will be like a balance of or cancellation of all your sins. I'm going to read it again. May he sit still, they said. May the sins of your previous birth be burned away tonight, they said. May your suffering decrease the misfortunes of your next birth, they said. May the sum of all evil balanced in this unreal world against the sum of good become diminished by your pain. May the poison, up to here once, this is the same which we have discussed now, up to now. Against the sum of good become diminished, kam hona, diminished, lesser, become lesser by your pain. Next, may the poison purify your flesh. And some are of this opinion that this poison is in your body, and may this poison become the reason of purifying your flesh, means it may it make you spiritually healthy, of desire. Let me open it, that see, may the poison purify your flesh of desire, that it makes you more purified, it makes you more spiritually healthy, and your spirit of ambition, may you that after this suffering you will be more sane and more discreet in your actions, they said. So it is an observation by a person who is recollecting his childhood memory when his mother was stung by the scorpion, and he is observing each and everything very in a very fine manner and narrating it in a very excellent manner. And they sat around, and now what is the situation, that they all have tried their best and given their interpretations as much as they can, as much as in their approach. And now they sat around on the floor with my mother in the center. Now in the center there is a mother, and all are sitting around her. One thing is, we can't deny of one thing, that their fellow feeling, how much concerned they are for the mother, despite that they have failed to do what they ought to do, or what they can't do, or they are not so succeed in their attempts, but they are so concerned. Their compassionate gesture is showing the very social bonding of the Indian setting of the poet's time, prevalent in the poet's time. And they sat around on the floor with my mother in the center, the peace of understanding on each face. And this calmness, this peace of understanding is due to their justification, because these old peasants think that they know the cause of everything, they know the nature of they know the explanation, justification of every cause and situation, and this situation, why it has been caused, due to the past karmas or whatever. So there is a peace of understanding, that means they are calm and they know what is destined to be. So they are satisfied with their own explanations, their own knowledge, and that's why there is a piece of understanding on each face. More candles, more lanterns, more neighbors. Now these lines shows that still the persons are or the neighborhood, in people living in the neighborhood, they are continue in coming in in order to see in order to share the tragic happening at their home. More candles, more lanterns, more neighbors, more insects, and the endless rain. Now in this line shows the irony, that speaker doesn't like much they're coming in these many numbers, My mother, twisted through and through, groaning on a mat. This means that her mother has no relief. She is suffering from intense, severe pain, and she is twisting and turning on the mat with groaning, with cries in pain. My father, skeptic rationalist, trying every curse and blessing, powder, mixture, herb, and hybrid. Now there is a one more introduction about speaker's father, who whose temperament is not like these old peasants who are illiterate and who are trying irrational measures. His father is skeptic and rationalist, scientific in his approach, and he is also trying his best to give relief to his wife. He is leaving no stone unturned in giving uh, respite to his wife. My father, skeptic rationalist. His father is a rationalist, trying every curse and blessing, powder, mixture, herb, whatever is in his knowledge, according to him, is according to his scientific approach, and hybrid mixture of the medicines. He even poured a little paraffin upon the bitten toe and put a match to it. Now here there is a extreme measure which his speaker's father has tried in his desperate attempts, that is so desperate and is so restless because he is failing in his attempts. He is unable to give any sort of relief to his wife. So at last he even tried this extreme measure, which is that he poured a little paraffin kind of oil on the bitten toe, on the place where the mother was bitten by the scorpion, and on that place he put a match. He sets fire on it, and this extreme measure even tried. I watched the flame feeding on my mother. Now the speaker is telling its helplessness, that I just watched my mother, and I could see that that fire was devouring, that fire was swallowing the flesh of my mother. That means her mother was in intense and in an unbearable pain again, more and more. I watched the holy man, and there is one more scenery now. I watched the holy man perform his rites to tame the poison with an incantation. Now there is a scene of a holy man, who is also trying in vain, as mother, as we will see that the mother is continue with his pain. Oh, he is trying his incantation and chantings, to performing his rites and rituals to make the poison ineffective, but everything is in vain. Mother has no respite. After 20 hours it lost its sting, and at last, after it is a very big time interval, 20 hours, the pain subsides, the sting loses its effect, and now there is a again a very different thing happens. At last, it is these are the last three lines of the poem. My mother only said, "Thank God the scorpion picked on me and spared my children." Now, these three lines are telling the unconditional, self effacing love of a mother. That after such an intense and unbearable pain, the mother's first reaction was the for concern for her children. She was worrying about the safety of her children, and she was thanking to God that a scorpion has chosen to bit her rather than her children. So here we can find that Ezekiel has taken so many things and themes in this poem, along with the hint for culture and superstitions. There is a very perfect and very good display of a mother's unconditional love. And we can find one more thing here, that this mother's reaction comes as an ultimate champion of whole story, whole narration. We find many reaction in this poem: narration by superstitious people, narration by the rationalistic approach, and the reaction by religious people or the people who believe in karma theory, but all the reactions are overpowered or they got dim in front of this mother's love, the reaction of mother's love, which comes as an unexpected winner in the story. And this also shows that love conquers all, and that we need to know that there are so many things: rationalism, superstition, and even religion. They all are proved to be futile. They all are proved to be unaffected in the whole narration, and the mother's love come as a champion. Her reaction is the best one. Others' reaction were, they were very eager to give a quick relief to mother, but at last the mother's reaction comes as a champion. And there are so many binaries in this poem: light and darkness. We can see there is a rationalism and superstition, good and evil, in the interpretations and in the presentation of the poem. So strong social relationship, this is noticeable. We can't deny from it that whatever the peasants they did as per their approach, but there is a display of strong social relationship by them, their fellow feeling, their sympathy, their compassion for their neighbor. Let's have a quick look on the stylistic devices of this poem. Alliteration has been used by Ezekiel in this poem. Alliteration is a rhetorical device which is a repetition of consonant sound at the beginning of the words. Consonant sound इसमें repeat होगी, व्यंजन की sound. There are many examples. Stung by a scorpion, sir. Parting with his poison, per. Diabolic tale in the dark, d. क से ग के बीच की साउंड है. कॉन्सोनेंट साउंड शुड बी रिपीटेड एट द बिगिनिंग ऑफ द वर्ड. रिस्क द रेन, पॉइजन प्योरीफाई, थ्रू एंड थ्रू, poured a little paraffin, flame feeding. So these are the examples of alliteration, and there is assonance also. Assonance is a rhetorical device where there is a repetition of vowel sound, and unlike alliteration, the repetition can be at the beginning or at the mid or at the end. Anywhere there can be repetition. For example, candle, वाउल साउंड की इसमें रेपिटेशन होती है. अ से अगर खाली की साउंड होनी चाहिए. कैंडल, लैंटर्न, और वो सेकंड प्लेस पे है, यहाँ पे बिगिनिंग में नहीं है. बर्स्ट, 100, अ. मदर्स ब्लड, अ. सो दीज आर द एग्जाम्पल्स ऑफ एजोनेंस. Next, there is a metaphor. There, in the one instance, there is a metaphor. Metaphor is a figure of speech where any term or phrase is applied. कोई term और phrase apply कर दी जाती है किसी पे, to something, when there any term or phrase is applied to something which is not relatable but to give such resemblance. तो यहाँ पे evil की resemblance in the context of the poem, the resemblance of evil is being given to the scorpion, and there is a metaphor. We can say that it is an implied comparison. Scorpion is the evil one, so evil characteristic is being given to scorpion. Simile is a figure of speech where something is compared to something with the use of like or as. Here, for example, the peasants came like swarm of flies. So their entry, or the peasants, their group is being compared to swarms of flies. Enjambment and colloquial. Enjambment is a technique, and in this poem, let's go back. I want to show you. Enjambment is a technique where one statement carries over to the next statement without any pause. अब जैसे इसमें मदर, आई रिमेंबर द नाइट माई मदर, अब नेक्स्ट लाइन में जा रहे हैं बिना किसी पोज के जा रहे हैं. विदाउट एनी पोज वी आर गोइंग टू नेक्स्ट लाइन, एंड पोएट uses, Ezekiel uses this enjambment here to give the poem a conversational tone, a colloquial, एक conversational flow देने के लिए enjambment यूज़ किया जाता है. जैसे कि हम इसे रीड करेंगे, so it looks like that it's just like a conversation chat. I remember the night my mother was stung by a scorpion, and this poem is stands in very contrast to the Ezekiel's earlier poems. If you see his earlier poems, they are conforming to a strict meter and rhyme, and in this poem, he has made a deliberate attempt to give to come out from this strict rhyme scheme and rhythm and meter. As I have told you that this poem has been written in free verse, so this was an experiment also by Ezekiel to give it a very colloquial and conversational tone. That's all for today.